All right. Hey, live top producer series. This is Mike Price. Hey, everybody. It is great to see you again. And we're kicking off 2022 with a special guest, my friend Margarita Wilhelm. And how you doing, Margarita?
I'm doing awesome, Mike. How are you?
I'm
Happy New
great.
Year.
Happy New Year. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and
Absolutely.
spending some time with us. I'm going to tell a little backstory about how we met. So last year, we were doing a transaction with helping a seller, and Margarita was helping the buyer. And it was a memorable transaction for a number of reasons. But one of the things that stood out to me was your persistence and your work ethic. You are always on top of it. And you were, a pleasure to work with. And it was really good. And that's how we became connected. So tell us a little bit about you and how you got into your journey in real estate. And just so everybody knows, Top Producer Series, a top producer is not just somebody that's out there doing a lot of business. A top producer is somebody that is, leads with integrity, and somebody that is a hard worker and very, very client service based. Okay, we are in the business of helping families. The numbers, the units, and the volume, that all comes with it. But Margarita showed all of that when we worked together. And so she is a super top producer. So tell us a little bit about how you got into real estate and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mike. Very kind words. I appreciate it. Yes, so real estate. You know what drove me to it? The biggest thing is I've always been so driven to my own success. I've always been very motivated. It's exciting to me to kind of just be in charge of, my story. And, the more people I can help, the more it excites me and the more it motivates me to want to keep pushing myself. I've always been a huge learner. I started off, I went to school for interior design and loved it, but I just knew there was something that I wanted to do that was more. And so then after that, I went into teaching, and that was so fulfilling. But there was still something that was, there's something I want more. There's something else that will really just, I guess, kind of my niche, my thing. And I've always been, like I said, excited and about doing my own thing, about being in charge of my success, and just the thought of connecting with people. I'm a very people-driven person. I get excited. I kind of, thrive off of being around people. And so it all kind of fit with what I was looking for. And I not looking back since, haven't looked back since, not looking for anything else. This is kind of found it.
Well, I think you've landed in the right spot because you've been doing this a couple of years, and multi-million-dollar producer already. And the way you handled not only the back and forth with me and my team, and the way that you really fought for your client, which is the name of the game. And it was very obvious from the beginning that you're passionate about what you do and you like what you do. So you landed in the right spot, I believe. So keep that up.
Yeah. And I know with you too, it was incredible working with you, how it's a collaboration. When I'm on the buyer side, you're on the seller side, we're a team. And that is something that I just am I believe in. We are both working for the same goal. We're working to help our clients. And the goal is, let's collaborate. Let's make things work. Let's make it work for the best of, both sides. We're a team. Let's work together. And that's what it comes down to. How can we both work in our clients' best interest, do the best for them, while also, working together, helping each other out.
Well, there's a lot of agents that watch this podcast. I get a lot or series, and I get a lot of people that reach out to me privately in messages. Hey, Mike, that was great. Thanks for doing this. And a lot of newer agents really need to hear this. And what you just said was super important. It is really important, whether you're a listing agent or you're on the buying side, is to build the rapport with the other agent. So if you're working with a buyer and you're doing a multiple offer situation, now of course the seller makes all the decisions and they're going to go with who they want, but you want to be sure that you're you're going to be good to work with. And that's not, if you're terrible and you have a great offer, of course, the seller picks the offer, but you're going to get a whole lot more joy out of this business and a whole lot farther if you look at every relationship as a win-win and a teamwork, because we are all on the same mission, and that's to help our clients, whether we're on the buying side or the listing side. And it's really hard. A lot of people are just transaction. That's a lonely business. I mean, we do a lot of transactions, but it's everything's focused around the client. And the way you fought for your buyer, I really like it, because there was an aggressiveness there that wasn't. You weren't ever ugly. You were just like, hey, this is what we need, and like, hey, this is what we need, and we just kept finding a way to get there in the middle. And next thing you know, it's we're closed and everybody's happy. So, what would be your advice for someone new out there that's just getting in this business? What would you tell them?
First I would say is, don't get discouraged if you don't get a sale right away. It's not a guarantee it's going to happen. It might take some time, and it's keep your head up. Don't give up. Keep just building relationships with people. Keep trying to learn as much as you can about the market, about the neighborhoods, and network in the meantime. But don't get discouraged, because it is hard to get, or it's easy to get discouraged. Sometimes we have a lull, but when there is a lull, that's when you start taking more education, taking some classes, watching videos, do whatever you can to better yourself. That way, when you do get that transaction, you are already, exactly how to handle it, because you've been prepared.
That's right. I mean, a lot of agents get discouraged because they get into real estate because there is a financial benefit to being in real estate. It can be a very lucrative career, but like anything else, you get out of it what you put in it. And a lot of agents, if they don't have 10 deals closed in 3 months, they're just ready to quit. And it takes a long time to get off the ground. And when you're new, you have to work twice as hard. And you have to put in a lot of hours. And because you don't know how to be super efficient with your time, usually, I know I didn't. And you've got to put in a lot of hours, a lot of time, and you've got to make a lot of mistakes. And those are where you learn and grow. And you've got to take that in stride, because if you don't ever fail, you're never going to know, you're never going to grow. Education. Make sure you get all your CE up to date. Make sure that you're reaching out to mentors. Make sure you're reaching out to folks that are doing it at a higher level. And that's something that a lot of agents are scared to call somebody on the other end of the transaction. If you're doing a transaction with somebody that's doing 100 units, give that person a call and have a conversation with, hey, well, could we have lunch? And if it was a great transaction and you were nice, absolutely, they'll do it,
Absolutely. Yeah, don't be afraid of, just because there are other agents that may be more successful than you, don't be afraid of them. In fact, a lot of us agents actually really want to help each other. It's because there's enough to go around for everybody. Why not? Why can't we all get together, work together, get along? It's absolutely. Don't be afraid of those top producers. Don't be afraid of those agents. Reach out. They're going to be happy to give you advice. Because we've all been there, being extremely new. We've all gone through it. We all know how it is. We have those experiences. So why not share them?
Well, there's a lot to being a good realtor. A lot of training goes into it, a lot of prep. You got to have a schedule. You got to be consistent. You can't do hit or miss, or you'll have hit or miss results. And a lot of people, overshoot their goals. And what I mean by that is, you want to set a realistic goal. And this is what it would be a great time to talk to another person. Like, somebody reach out to Margarita or myself is, hey, I'm not sure what I want my goal to be this year. And it's always families. It's never volume. It's never unit. It's always how many people you can help. What is your goal for next year?
I think my goal is I want to help a minimum of 20 families. I always love to also push my goal and break my goal. So 20 families is the minimum, but my goal is to beat that. So we'll see.
Well, and I've always looked at it like this. And my son, he's 7, and he asked me, Dad, you sell houses? And I said, yeah, but I sell houses, but more importantly, I help people navigate through one of the biggest decisions they'll ever make for themselves and their families. And it's also one of the most stressful decisions or processes people will go through. And if you are going to be a great real estate agent, you are going to have to have empathy. You're going to have to, get in their shoes for a minute and what are they going through? And you're going to have to remember that they're working and they've got kids and they've got family and they've got this and they've got all these things going on, and they're selling their home, which they don't do but once every 5 or 6 years maybe. And so the good agents, and that's something that you were really good at, was you were so in tune with your client and what you guys were doing. It was almost it was almost like y'all were related or something. It was great. And if you come from contribution and you really go for their best interest, it's always going to work out in the end.
Yes, absolutely. It's got to be people first. You can't focus on the transaction. Believe it or not, your client will actually start to pick up on it, that all you want is that deal to close. And if they pick up on that, they're going to, you don't want them to see that, or them to see you seeing them as a dollar sign.
Right.
It's, you got it. And sometimes the transaction isn't going to go through. Sometimes your client might change their mind and say, we're going to wait for 6 months. We're going to wait for a year. But that's okay, because you're focused on them as people, not getting the deal done.
Sometimes, and I've even had, I'm sure you have too, have a conversation with a client and say, hey, this is probably a scenario where we need to pull out. This is not going to be the best deal for you. And well, I don't know if we should do that. So, hey, look, if you want to move on, we'll park this thing. We'll go find you another house, or we'll take it off the market and we'll sell it next, 3 months, whatever works best for you. And always looking out for your client is just the number one way to do well in this, because guess what happens? People refer you business. And I know you've probably enjoyed, multiple referrals from past clients, the way you do business. I have too. And I would tell any new agent out there to focus on the basics and focus on being present and being super involved with your client, and find out what's important to them. Listen to them when they're telling you what they need. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's people first. And if you put them first, that's where the referrals will come in.
Well, Margarita, I've no doubt that this is going to be the best year you've ever seen in real estate.
Thank you.
I think that you're probably going to crush your goal before third quarter, at least by third quarter. And the reason I say that is because the way you approach the business and the way your mindset and your attitude and the way you really take care of your client all the way from start to finish, you can't help but to do great. And people are going to want to work with you. And, I enjoyed working with you. And, that's why we're having you on this podcast right here, because, there's a lot of realtors out there that don't quite get it. And there's a lot that do. And if you just take the time to learn your craft and take care of your clients, it's all going to work out.
Yeah. Yes, it will. Yeah, absolutely. And patience, be patient. Not going to happen overnight. Be patient. It will happen.
Be patient. It's not a destination. It's a journey, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Margarita, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Hey, it's been great seeing you again. I know hopefully we're doing a deal again this year.
Yes.
If not, we're definitely going to be collaborating through the year. And so all the best to you, your family, and a great 2022. Thanks for coming on.
You too, Mike. And thank you so much. Like I said, yes, we'll keep in touch, and we'll see what the future brings to both of us.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a wonderful year for everybody. The market's still hot, just so everybody knows. It's doing great.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later. Thanks, Margarita. And listen, how about like towards the end of the year, let's get back together and tell everybody, what kind of great year you had. How's that?
That sounds great.
All right. Wonderful. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great 2022. Bye, everybody. Thank you.